it's looking like Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury are going to be fined because she just said nah. She just said nah. And I'm sorry, like, you can't have all the smoke. You cannot be there chirping with fans the whole game. You cannot be allegedly telling fans they want to chose to join a real basketball team. You cannot be saying stuff like that and then hide.
Alyssa Thomas thought she could trash Talk Fever fans, storm off after a loss, and skip mandatory media duties without facing consequences. She was wrong. The WNBA is reportedly preparing fines for her and the Phoenix Mercury for violating league policy. And honestly, the timing couldn't be more ironic.
And it looked like Alyssa Thomas will be getting fined for doing this in Indianapolis. Guys, for this one here.
Do you think Alyssa Thomas should be fined for dodging her required post-game media appearance after losing to Indiana? Thomas just got a tough reminder that actions have consequences. And frankly, it's long overdue. On Wednesday night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the Mercury were edged out 101-97 by the Indiana Fever, despite Thomas delivering one of her best games of the season. But this isn't about her stats. The real story is what happened after the final whistle, and it has everyone talking.
So Alyssa Thomas had all the smoke for the Fever fans. That's all I'm going to say. Like, it wasn't just like, just normal smoke. It wasn't just normal beef. It was what people from the country will call Dublin. She had the big smoke. Like, she absolutely had all the beef for... She, let the fans hear it, all of this stuff. Satu there, telling the fans to keep up the booze. And what did they do? They lost.
Let's walk through exactly what went wrong and why Thomas is now in hot water with the league. She scored 32 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and dished 7 assists in 34 minutes, shooting a blistering 63.6% from the floor. It was her first 30-point game this year, and she led all players in scoring. But even after putting up monster numbers, her team still lost, which had a sting. What's making headlines now, though, is what she did after the game. Instead of showing up for her required media appearance, she vanished. Just disappeared like a ghost. No statement, no presence, nothing.
Understand how a player in a professional sport can ever think that someone who left a team in a lurch, like DeWanna Bonner left the Indiana Fever in a time of adversity when multiple players were injured. They had to sign hardship contracts, and instead of saying, hey, this isn't working out, after 9 games, mind you, did not give it much time. 9 games was it. That's all she played with the Indiana Fever. Asking for a trade and not traveling with your team after asking for something to be worked out. And then, not only that, pretty much forcing your way onto the Phoenix Mercury, which is a title contending team and a team with her life partner on it. It just sounds very like I can get what I want when I want, and it doesn't matter what happens. And yes, I can see a fan base being quite upset with this. I mean, LeBron, when he left Cleveland, people were burning his jerseys. People were booing him every time he was back in Cleveland.
Fans didn't hold back. Reactions were fierce. A Reddit thread exploded Thursday as people slammed Thomas for bailing on her post-game responsibilities and speculated about looming fines. The internet wasted no time roasting her for what many are calling an unprofessional move. And to be honest, she handed them the perfect target.
Something that not that she caused, not that necessarily DeWanna caused for herself. Like the booing and everything, DeWanna brought that in herself. Let's be completely real. Even Nate Tibbetts was just like, well, yeah, this is sports. Like, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but like their coach was even like, well, yeah, this is sports. This is sports. And like Alyssa Thomas not showing up. It's the most Alyssa Thomas thing ever, isn't it? Talk a big game, and then when anyone does anything negative towards you, let's just dodge. It is the most Alyssa Thomas thing ever. Like, we've seen it with somebody.
Now let's talk about the backstory that makes all this even more awkward. This game marked Dana Bonner's return to Indy after she quit on the Fever earlier this season. It was also Bonner's first appearance since being waived by Indiana on June 25th. Thomas was clearly emotionally invested. Her fiancé was being booed by fans she once played for. That added fuel to the fire.
Foul on Sophie Cunningham. That is her first team second. Coming in, point guard for Queens, number 14, Bonner.
Bonner was loudly booed by Fever fans during Wednesday's game. Thomas herself got into it with the crowd too. So here's the picture. She talked smack during the game, saw her team fall despite her stellar performance, and then ducked out instead of facing the press like a pro. Footage even showed Thomas exchanging words with fans when Phoenix led 25-13 early in the first quarter. She had no problem talking when things were going well. But when it came time to face the media post-defeat, she was nowhere to be seen. The WNBA's 2025 media access rules clearly state that each head coach and 2 players, including the top scorer, must speak to the press within 10 minutes after a game ends. On Wednesday, Coach Nate Tibbetts and Kalia Copper did their part. Thomas? She never left the locker room. Her absence wasn't just a poor look, it was a direct violation. The league doesn't mess around with this, and repeat offenses bring harsher penalties. Fans noticed. Many questioned how someone could trash talk all game and then refuse to speak afterward. Her silence said a lot, and none of it good.
All right, first of all, if you know or follow sports in like the slightest, you don't even have to be a fanatic to understand boos come with the territory. I have never seen a season without boos. Every time I go to a New York Liberty game and the Indiana Fever play, Sophie Cunningham just steps on the court or gets announced or anything, it's met with boos from the crowd. For whatever reason, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's never something that I thought to write about. It's never something that I thought to post to social media. It's not something that I ever thought to make a video about because I know fans.
Fans immediately called out how ridiculous the situation was. It all came down to the fact that her girlfriend got booed, and Thomas didn't take it well. WNBA fans didn't hesitate to criticize her for skipping out, claiming it was more about emotion than professionalism. And this wasn't some isolated moment. Thomas has a pattern of run-ins with fans and controversial remarks. Remember her comments during last year's playoffs about Fever fans? She's been building toward this meltdown for a while. The real irony? Thomas has publicly spoken about unity and professionalism in the league. She once said, "As players, we stick together," in defense of Angel Reese. Now, she's breaking the very standards she used to promote. Meanwhile, players like Caitlin Clark endure tough games and hostile crowds, but still show up for their media duties. Thomas decided the rules didn't apply to her. What's even more frustrating is that she had every reason to show up. Her stats were incredible. She could have used the opportunity to highlight her performance and show leadership. Instead, she let emotions take over. The backlash on social media was harsh, and deservedly so. People pointed out how she was loud on the court, but silent when it mattered. That's not leadership. That's running from responsibility. The Mercury organization isn't off the hook either. They should have ensured their star followed the rules. Letting her skip media without consequence shows weak accountability from the franchise. This isn't just about Thomas. It reflects on the entire organization. And let's be real, if Caitlin Clark had done this, the league would have dropped the hammer instantly. But Thomas, who's been openly critical of fan behavior in the past, might be expecting a pass. Hopefully, the WNBA proves otherwise. This is also a teachable moment. Younger athletes and fans are watching, and they need to see that being a pro means showing up no matter what. The league must enforce its rules fairly, no matter who breaks them. With the Mercury's next games approaching, eyes will be on how Thomas responds and how the league responds to her. Will she face real consequences or brush it off? The league needs to make an example out of this. Otherwise, it sets a precedent where stars can dodge media just because they're upset. What's frustrating is that Thomas had everything to gain. She could have praised her team's effort, acknowledged the crowd's reaction with class, or even addressed the boos in a respectful way. Instead, she ran. And now the media narrative is all about her lack of professionalism, not her talent. Her teammates did their jobs while she added a distraction. That's unfair to the team, especially one with title hopes. The league's response to this incident matters a lot. The WNBA wants to be seen as a legitimate professional league, and that means treating stars the same as everyone else. In the NBA or NFL, skipping media duties means an automatic fine. No excuses. The WNBA must show that same standard. Fans are watching. They want to see accountability. When players act like they're above the rules, it damages the league's reputation. Thomas had the chance to elevate her image and boost her brand, but she turned a win into a loss by ducking out. Now, instead of praise for a great game, she's getting grilled. And that's entirely on her. The fallout might affect how media cover her in the future. Reporters don't forget. And if the Mercury are serious about winning a title, they can't afford these types of distractions. Championships are about more than talent. They're about handling adversity with class. Thomas failed that test. The irony here is poetic. She ran her mouth, lost the game, ducked the media, and now she's being held accountable. That karma. At the end of the day, Thomas made a bad choice. She let her emotions override her professionalism. And now she's going to pay the price. The fine? It's well earned. She showed what not to do, and hopefully, the league makes sure others don't follow that path.